The next presentation is entitled Shotcrete, and it will be presented by Ivica Zivanovic. Ivica is a technical director at the Freycinet Group. He deals with repair and new build structure solutions, including design, research, and development of Freycinet techniques and systems portfolio. He also performs site assistance. So I now ask Ivica to please turn on your camera and microphone, and you can share your presentation.
Good afternoon, everybody. So as you introduce myself, thank you very much. We talk about the chapter 10 of the Bulletin 102 about Shotcrete. First of all, I would like to thank all the contributors who are Giulio, Antonio, Julia, and not myself. I will not thank you myself, but my colleague. Let's say like that. And of course, the reviewer from FIB that I didn't have found the name, but for sure, thank you all for the contribution for this chapter. And my topic will be related to the content itself of the chapter 10, which is related to the principle on how to adopt this method, what are the material and techniques, including the equipment, the role and qualification of each actors, design process, some execution detail, of course, quality control, monitoring and maintenance. I will not talk about case study in detail because it is well described in the bulletin, but according to the principles that we will see, I think we will have a good overview. So first of all, the shotcreting process is a handmade, if I can say, implementation of the concrete using mainly compressed air in order to transport the concrete mix into the conveyor pipes and to spray it into a substrate of the structure that we would like to repair or to reinforce. It could be applied on the different structure on concrete bridges, dams, building frames, tower and masonry bridges. There are some application on industrial and marine structure, underground structure, collectors or tunnel, with some example on the picture that we can see at the right side. The typical cases of application are related to concrete structure repair after, of course, some accidental event as fire. For example, concrete structure repair after some degradation by corrosion as induced by delamination. Of course, some reinforcement because it is needed to increase sometimes only the concrete cover, but also sometimes the cross-section area with addition of rebar and increasing of flexural inertia. And sometimes also we can elaborate a new and freeform shape structure, as we can observe at the right side of the slide pictures. There are two different techniques. One it's called the dry shotcrete application. It consists to use a powdery consistency on totally dry or slightly humidified mix, which is pushed by compressed air, transported and sprayed through the mix itself, the shotcrete, on the substrate. So this is, I don't know if my pointer can be seen, but the right side picture illustrates the principle where if I can say like that, the water adjustment is done at the last moment at the nose of the system, which is allowing to spray the fresh concrete to the substrate of the concrete structure. The wet process consists to use plastic consistency concrete, which is compressed or pushed by compressed air and transported to the concrete surface already in place. So finally, you have the introduction of the wet mortar on all constituents of the shotcrete, and an adjustment at the nozzle by air. So when to choose the techniques or the technology, dry process is mainly used for strengthening of the structure, where it is needed some important mechanical properties as high bond strength. There is a long conveying distance in the pipe until the structure, high frost resistance, high mechanical performance concrete, and where there is a large or important thickness layer needed in one shot application and without admixture. The wet process is mainly a repair in narrow area where a thin layer of concrete is required, with strengthening in intradoor of confined liner, for example, without taking a significant requirement regarding the bond strength on temporary concrete coating. Of course, now with the improvement of concrete itself, it is possible to spray ultra high performance fiber reinforced or concrete or ultra thin structural layer, which prevail where it is important to preserve the geometry, to not in that case impact significantly the internal clearance, for example, and increase the strength and durability. And of course, all the time, what is looking for is to save in the execution time. Related to the equipment, we have seen the principle, but there is mixing and transportation equipment which allow to prepare the mix. Then the spraying machine itself, in both cases, it could be spare part, but spare parts are mainly needed for the spraying machine. We need a compressor for the air on the energy, which is actually by fuel, but it's another question regarding some different equipment now to save CO2 emission pipe and their connection. The lens itself with a specific nozzle for the spraying, on some devices related to confinement with ventilation. This is what you can see on the right side through the pictures. In terms of material are well classified according to different standards, mainly ACI and EN standard, but there is some equivalent, but I put here the most used, if I can say like that, related to cement, its aggregates, including mix and max grading curves, cement and mixture, additives or on fiber if needed, the water, of course. There are some prescriptive requirements to the shotcrete in complement to the requirement of the European standard, for example, which is the minimum cement content. The classes according to the EN standard with classification G1 to G3 according to the table 8 of the standard. The size, the maximum diameter of aggregates for mortar, also for mortar finishing, for concrete itself, where it is structural, and for large volume also. There are also how can I say, classified regular and continuous grading curve for sand, gravel, and spray mix. Everything is considered, if I can say, with limited content of fines, depending on the required strength grade, preferably rolled on flat aggregates, the low porosity on water content aggregates, the clean and dry sand and travel content of addition silica fumes. Typically, it is between 5 and to 8%. The stakeholders' roles and qualification. First of all, regarding design of the Shotcrete solution for repair, of course, it should be developed by qualified and experienced design office. Installation phase should be made by a specialized company, because as I show at the beginning in the picture, the key operation is the spraying itself, which is dedicated to train on the common people that are able to use correctly the nose system to apply as much as possible in one shot the required layer thickness on the shape itself sometimes. So it is appropriate skills, which is, in my opinion, mainly linked to the experience. Shotcrete work shall be performed, as I said, only by fully qualified specialists. And of course, it is as all work operation, including repair operation, with proper supervision, with the quality control that need to be carried out during the spraying phase. Related to the design specifically, on the relevant standard, there is there is a first step. It is the assessment of the structure existing condition to define the strengthening possibility. So all this need to be done or must be done using existing code or guidelines that I put as an example in the slide, with or equivalent depending to the country location. Main characteristic to be investigated are, of course, the characteristic of the substrate or concrete support in compressive strength, in surface cohesion, the mechanical characteristics and sections of existing rebars, the environmental condition of the structure, the load cases, of course, before, during the operation and after the reinforcement. There are a lot of codes and standards depending of the area in the world. American Concrete Institute, SCI, and ASTM standard are describing from the guide to Shotcrete specification for the Shotcrete itself until the technical note, for example, for visual evaluation of Shotcrete core quality, standard practice for preparation and testing specimen, just to give an example. European standards are also covering all the sprayed Shotcrete definition, specification, and compliance, including in part 2 the execution of work itself, the testing on the constituent specification in terms of admixture for concrete, mortar, and grout. And of course, there are typically per country, as you can see an example for related to France. Preparation work for execution consists mainly, the first step is after having well done the analysis of the structure itself and the design carried out. The preparatory work consists to inspect the surface and reinstated to be able to have a surface concrete well prepared as a crucial objective, the removal of the latents that sand grains on aggregates appear. Just to give an example, through sandblasting or hydrodemolition, as we can see on the two pictures, for example. In terms of execution on related to steel reinforcement of the structure, when necessary, according to the design, rebar in the shotcrete have of course the same role as in a poured reinforced concrete. So, but with some limitation, as indicated, the bare diameter cannot exceed the 25 millimeter. The spacing between the substrate and the reinforcement is equal at least to their diameter, and between reinforcement there is at least a 20 millimeter spacing. The overlapping length must comply with calculation requirements of the code used. The other step is the hydration of the substrate with the proper hydration. It's allowed to provide a good bonding. It is carried out, of course, before spraying with air blowing in addition to water at the level of the nozzle to facilitate the water penetration into the concrete, and to damp but not to dripping the surface, as illustrated in a scheme. So the spraying itself is depending of the layer of the or the thickness. Sorry, it could be implemented in successive layer to obtain the coating thickness. Each layer is made in runs coat of fresh concrete in order to obtain the layer itself. The nozzle being perpendicular to the surface and start from the ground and move methodically upwards. And I can say an optimal distance from the nozzle to the surface substrate is between 600 millimeter up to 1.5 meter. And in order to have the highest degree of compensation on lowest rebound, if I can say it like that, you have some picture illustrating the effect that I would like to describe, which is not easy by words. The finishing work consists to have our roof as sprayed or scratched with a spray, a thin top coat layer of fine sprayed concrete of 2 centimeters, for example, ruled evenly or smoothes. All are the 4 possibilities. The curing, which is an important step, is for intermediate layer when there is where it is applied in a few layers 2 times a day for at least 4 days or until the next layer is sprayed. For the last layer, it is adapted to the formula used onto the environment or atmospheric condition, which finally gives a curing time between 24 and 72 hours. The quality control before intervention, just to illustrate, is of course, as you have observed before, the surface inspection, the material delivery in their original package and its compliance, that are needed to be stored in a dry place, protected from UV and freezing, the temperature between 5 and 35 degrees Celsius. The packaging should mention, of course, the identification of product, the supplier name, the product name, the batch number, the type of product and the expiration date, and some environmental condition as temperature and humidity monitoring. So the checking points are related to temperature, the condition of humidity, the dew points, the wind and rain, the layer thickness need to be taken into account and checked, marks placed every 2 meters, for example, with the user ruler or something able easily to control under progress what is applied. The layer integrity, there is no action on the shotcrete layer as long as the concrete has not stiffened. Of course, after the spraying itself, the thickness control, the hammer sounding test, the initial strength measurement, depending if we are on a dry or wet system and with the requirement itself. The compression test on course 28 days, sorry, after the spraying, the adhesive, the bonding strength, and I put some typical value, which are 1 megapascal at 7 days, 2 at 28 days, and it is generally carried out or obtained with at least 3 sampling testing. Oh, maybe I am a little quick. I don't take it into account. So, in conclusion, I can say that there is it gives a lot of possibilities in order to increase or the shape or the resistance of the structure, depending of the case, with additional rebars and application according to the project requirements. Of course, I will thank you for the attention. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ivica, for this very nice presentation. We have quite shy attendees because I don't see any questions. There are no open questions. But as before, and since we have time for that, I ask if anyone wants to put live a question to Ivica. Okay, Anna, do you want to ask the question to Ivica?
Yeah, it's just a small question about the nominal recover from the new rebar to the old concrete, to the concrete that existing concrete. What is the? I think you've shown in your presentation about 2 to 3 centimeters.
Yes, just to be sure that I understood well the question, it is, I forgot where I put the information, it's not here. Maybe you are talking about this slide?
Yes.
Okay, and your
it's
question
about
is?
This, what should be the distance between the new rebar to the old concrete? You're here, you say at least 20 millimeters. Shouldn't it be the nominal recover, the more or less 5 centimeters?
But it's depending on which phase we are talking. If it is my talk was the fact between the existing and the new support, but the cover from the external surface is same as for steel reinforced concrete.
Yes, and internal, how can you say, the internal distance should be at least 20 millimeters. Isn't this a short distance? Shouldn't be maybe the
what
the
I
existing...
said? No, it's not it. What I try to say, it is okay. We can see like this. In fact, generally speaking, maybe it's not clear, but if we can have an opening of the structure until the existing first layer of rebar. For example, this is the example that I because between the substrate on the reinforcement, it is at least the diameter. So that means it is at least 25 millimeter between the surface of the existing substrate. So that means the existing rebar are more deeply inside.
Okay, thank you.
Imagine this is finally the concrete, and in this picture, what we put is the distance with the new sprayed concrete reinforcement.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Let me check. No open questions and no raised hands. So thank you very much, Ivica.